Hello and welcome along to a new-ish look Diecast Restos. I got a new cutting mat for Christmas and this is the first opportunity that I've had to use it. You'll notice a couple of other changes along the way, so as this is a bit of a new beginning, I thought it warranted a pretty special resto mod. This is Hot Wheels Ford GT90, a first edition no less from 1998. It replicates Ford's high-performance GT90 concept car from 1995. It was quite influential on me as it arrived when I was growing up and getting into computer games like Need for Speed 2, which it featured in prominently. But it was Gran Turismo 2 in 1999 that sealed my adoration for it. I think from memory that you unlocked it after completing a 100-mile endurance race at the Seattle Street Circuit. The Hot Wheels casting came at what I considered to be the height of their powers. The first edition model benefited from an accurately cast body with sculpted vents with actual openings. It had a dark tinted window just like the concept car, a sturdy plated metal base which bore the triangular exhaust and radiator grills, this beautifully moulded interior and engine piece, and there were 3-spoke wheels that were in the right ballpark but didn't quite hit the right note, missing that vibrant blue shade the real car's wheels carried. I'm looking to put that right today with this resto mod. I'll also aim to detail the interior a little and give the engine bay a serious makeover. Then externally, I will highlight the car's details and offer it some Ford badge and taillight decals. It's proving tricky to remove this rear axle, no matter what tool I try. This means it's time to bring out the big guns. The Ford GT90 was developed as a secret project by a small engineering team in a little over 6 months. Ford owned Jaguar at the time, and so many of the components from the XJ220 were shared, including the chassis and transmission. The engine was not borrowed though, that was unique to the GT90. It was a 5.9 litre, 90-degree quad-turbocharged V12, Ford's first since their Lincoln division's Lincoln Zephyr V12 engine from 1948. It was based on Ford's modular V8 on an aluminium block and head, producing 720 horsepower. To refine this engine, Ford stuck it in a Lincoln Town Car and used it as a test mule. Power was delivered to the rear wheels via a 5-speed manual transmission. The exhaust would get hot enough that it would be able to damage the body panels. So to circumvent this, ceramic tiles similar to those used on the Space Shuttle kept the body from melting away. It also had double wishbone suspension, power-assisted rack and pinion steering, and ventilated disc brakes. According to Ford, the GT90 could hit 60 miles per hour in 3.1 seconds, and could go from 0 to 100 miles per hour in 6.1 seconds. Its top speed was a claimed 235 miles per hour, which, if it had entered production, would have made it the fastest production car in the world at the time. It would have been 14 miles per hour faster than the McLaren F1. It wouldn't be until 2005 that the Bugatti Veyron would top this speed. The mid-engined GT90 was meant to be a spiritual successor to the GT40, but borrowed little in the way of styling cues. The doors cut into the roofline, but that was about it. It was the first Ford to showcase the company's new edge design philosophy. The sharp lines and angles of the panels were moulded from carbon fibre on a honeycomb aluminium monocoque. The GT90 was unveiled at the Detroit Auto Show in January 1995. At the time, Ford said that the car, which they had spent $3 million on developing, could enter production at around $150,000 apiece. This was just a tiny fraction of the $1 million asking price of the McLaren. Later in the year, the keys were handed to the media at the Le Mans circuit, where journalists could drive the car, albeit at limited speeds. The turbo's wastegates were jammed open due to engineers' concerns that the chassis may not be able to handle the car's power. With it being a concept, the fitment was a bit off, with a loose steering wheel and non-functional dials among its faults. By this time, Ford had pulled the plug on any potential for the project to go ahead into full production. This meant that the successor to the GT40 would ultimately be the 2004 Ford GT, which bore a far greater resemblance to the original car than the GT90 did. Jeremy Clarkson, who tested the GT90 in period, was quite complimentary about the American effort, praising the car's styling, engine and gearbox. However, years later, when reviewing the new GT, he described the GT90 as horrid, that it had a top speed of 40, and that it handled like it was in a cartoon. Speaking of cartoons, here's a character straight from one. Yes, I've decided that a little bit of me may be what is needed in my future videos. Let me know if you think this is a good idea by leaving a comment. I think it's only the second time that I've knowingly shown my face on camera on the channel. It's made me realise quite how much I frown when I'm concentrating. So, as I said earlier on, this Hot Wheels casting I've used was a first edition release, with its features heavily based on the real GT90. After the initial release, the model was quickly recoloured to yellow with collision patrol tampos. These also had a clear canopy, which might have come in handy on this build, but the real concept cars were heavily smoked. There was another red mainline release in 1999, along with a very nice looking New York Toy Fair design. The interiors were grey on these and black on the mainline versions. They were tan for the short-lived 2000 Future Fleet series, underneath a bright green window piece. The wheels either remained as the 3-spoke type or could be multi-spoke instead. I think that my new blue ones will look best of all once I'm done with them though. The 2000 mainline offering was also black with green tampos, but had an untinted transparency. The wheels were 5 dots on this version. There were several variations in 2001, as the canopy could now be found coloured bright blue and the interiors red on some types. The 2002 mainline offering was a metal flake olive, and in 2003 another canopy colour was offered in luminous orange. Its final mainline outing would be in 2006, with its final appearance in 2010 when a silver car with a new red tinted canopy was included in a 5-pack. The bases remained unpainted Zamac throughout production, though for mine I've painted it black in order to enhance the look of the rear grills and exhaust exit that are cast into the piece. Now let's get detailing the body. Now that I've given the rims a chrome lip and an extra coating of chrome on the knockoffs, I can start assembling the wheels. I borrowed this knockoff set from a Creative 164 Lamborghini Miura wheel set. The American Racing Salt Flat wheels aren't designed to have these knockoffs added, but I think they look pretty decent when assembled. They were the closest that I could find to the GT90's unique 3-slot multi-piece bespoke wheels. Let's continue with the detailing to the base. There were a few decals that I wanted adding to the GT90 to perfect it. Front and centre is quite a large Ford oval. So I thought that if I'm going to be on camera now, I needed some appropriately branded clothing. If you might be interested in Diecast Resto's branded merch, let me know down in the comments. I'm undecided yet, but if there's enough interest shown, I might start up a merch store. Tell me what you'd like to see in the store if I do. Right, so I've applied the triangular taillights and I'm about to move on to adding the rear-facing Ford badge. The headlights are just narrow slits, so I didn't go down the decal route for these, instead drawing them in with chrome paint. Now it's time for the finishing touches. Here are all of the pieces that make up the Hot Wheels Ford GT90. Up first is the reinsertion of that smoked transparency. After that is the beautiful blue interior piece that I've detailed, mainly to the dash and engine. Then the base refits using the grills and exhaust as a unique tongue and slot arrangement to the rear, while a single tapped rivet post at the front secures it. This was how the Hot Wheels Ford GT90 looked before I got going on it. It is a pretty accurate little casting which featured all the right colours of the concept car except for the wheel coating. I love this model's rear assembly, utilising the grills and exhausts that are cast into the base to connect it to the body. This also allows that Ford V12 engine to be visible through the rear canopy. I thought it needed a few extra touches to make it elite, and here it is now, sporting my additions. The biggest difference for me are the wheels. Adding in those centre knockoffs really give the car its personality, especially coated in brilliant blue. Having been well played with, I had to polish up the canopy which, while too dark really to appreciate the vibrant interior and detailed engine, is in keeping with the smoke tint of the actual concept car. Around the back, I added in the decals of the triangular taillights and added the Ford badge to the rear section that forms part of the base plate. Overall, I'm very happy with the outcome on this resto mod. But what do you think? Give the video a like if you enjoyed it and tell me your opinions down in the comments. Also tell me if you'd be up for some Diecast Resto's branded merch. Please subscribe if you haven't already for even more upcoming customs, but all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.